Hello everyone, and welcome to Hell, Opera Omnia style. It's time for my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, and in this one we're going to be diving into Dimensions and Entropy, which is an interesting take on the word chaos. So yes, the so-called real FEoD is finally out. Dimensions and Entropy is here. It is pulling no fucking punches, and I'm just going to straight up tell you that I haven't done tier 5 yet. I do not have the characters for it. There's no way I'm going to be able to beat it, and these stages are very much the real shit and they do not play around. So I will quickly give like an overview of them and my overall impressions of playing them. Tier 1, the real boss on this stage as far as I'm concerned is this bomb. Like, this bomb is the real problem because it's flanked by these two things, and you pretty much have to do as much damage as you can on the middle one, but you can't leave the other two unbroken because otherwise they do nasty things like HP damage, or they cast fire spells on themselves to raise their own bravery, and then you'll get surprise one-shotted at inconvenient moments, and it's just all sorts of horrible. Compared to them, the two bosses aren't too bad, but the behemoth is a bit of a dick as well, because if you don't keep him broken, then he has a habit of spamming AoE HP attacks, so you generally want to take this thing out first. The rest of the stage is not really much to worry about. It is, however, extremely resistant to magic, so this is like a physical only stage. And I ended up beating it with Machina, Ramza and Agrias. Machina is like not really the best pick for that stage, but he works. And I actually haven't shown him on video yet. I do have a couple of videos recorded, but I'm not sure. I haven't uploaded them yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to at this point. But yeah, it serves as a perfect introduction to what Machina can do. So tier 2 is going to be the magic stage because it's highly resistant to all physical and ranged damage. This stage I found a lot easier than the previous one, but that may well be due to the fact that my roster is very, very heavily magic slanted. So I ended up taking Kuja, Kryl and Charlotta to this one. Kryl and Kuja work really well together because Kuja provides an attack aura for Kryl, so she doesn't hit quite so much like a wet noodle. And Charlotta is there for healing and also for the HP damage buff. Kuja's damage does start to become a bit strugglish, especially when they start losing health. But that's when you just pop the remove summon and you spam ultimas, and that you just do incredible amounts of damage. You know, you'll not be disappointed. In fact, the first wave starts off on a boss fight. So you get this thing. This thing is the biggest threat because you remember the boss from Kefka's event, right? It's the same one, and it has the same habit of using Candle in the Wind, or whatever it's called, after it like brazenly smirks, and you're going to take a huge amount of HP damage. And I was quite lucky with that because he targeted Charlotta and then he targeted Kryl, and he gets up to about 10,000 bravery, and I had the HP to survive it. But I'm going to tell you straight up, if you don't have the Leviathan HP passives and you don't have characters with high hit points, this thing will one-shot you unless you can survive HP attacks, so you kind of need to do that. And if you get targeted, if he targets the same person in a row twice, then you're probably going to die as well, so that's really annoying. Tier 3, initially I tried to clear it without Ultimecia, but then I was like, you know what, let's bring out the big guns. So I've got my 1 out of 3 Rem here, and I've got my Sarah to give Ultimecia ungodly amounts of attack, and as you can see by the score, we pretty much smashed it because it's Ultimecia. This stage has kind of got no real immunities, no resistances, nothing particularly special. It's just, you know, it's just a it's relatively normal, although the Marilith and the Lich do have a habit of buffing themselves up and starting to get a bit wacky with their HP attacks if you're not careful. The last wave has this really irritating Tiamat that uses Maelstrom to remove everyone's buffs and set their bravery at 1, so you're going to want some to save enough skills with Sarah and Rem to rebuff. But then I just kind of went into summon and I stuck them in the Ultimecia loop, especially because this thing has a thunder weakness, which is why I brought along Ramu, and yeah, you just do ungodly amounts of damage, and then the turn spacing allowed me to kind of finish that one, no problem. Tier 4 is interesting because it's kind of like a boss rush. Like, every single one of these enemies is a single target wave, but in my experience the toughest ones are the first one and the last one. Now the last one is Ultima, and this stage's gimmick is that it doesn't resist any damage, but they're immune to all debuffs. So you might be thinking, why did you bring Lilith then? Well, her buffs stack with Cloud, and I don't have that many more Chaos viable buffers at this point, so it was really a case of she was the best one I had for the job. Even though her debuffs don't work, she's still kind of full of Brave batteries, and she still provides auras that stack with everything. Wall was there because I hate fighting Ultima style bosses without Wall. He's just so good, and he kind of protects you. And Cloud is there because his longevity is unreal, and yeah, his meteor rains are really good. He's very good against single target bosses because his meteor rain damage is not split, and that's also part of the reason I brought Lilith. You know, all these characters are basically single target damage characters that can spam HP plus throughout the first half of the fight. So I didn't have too many problems with this one, to be honest, but it does have the paranormal field, which can paralyze you just like the Garland event, but it says will not inflict paralyze when HP above 50%. Oh yeah, it has renew as well, so it heals itself back up. So yeah, that's going to be a struggle. That's going to be difficult. And then we have tier 5, aka the stage that I haven't done yet. I'm not going to be able to do this one because this is another physical stage. It resists magic, and the first wave has freaking Ketchi in it. And he is going to use Mog Dance and give everyone insane Brave regen, and if you don't have a method of dispelling buffs on everyone, then you're pretty much going to bite the dust real fast. And because this is like a mannequin wave, so all of these are mannequins, you know, they all have their own buffs. You've got Lightning with her turn rate, you've got Sid with his HP attack spamming, you've got Onion Knight and his Sage buff and his fast turn rate, you've got Agrias, you've got Ramza with his Brave regens. You know, this is pretty much like, this is Balthia's playground. You know how Balthia steals enemy buffs? Well, Balthia will be getting the X Plus next month, and I think that this wasn't available in Japan until Balthia was released, and if you run him here, especially because his EX is 100% AoE, you're just going to have a much easier time of it. And to be honest, I'm going to probably try and pull him with tickets. I might give Squall some ingots, and I will probably replay 4 with Ishtola in place of Lilith when she gets realised, because currently Ishtola is still not realised yet. She's going to be getting her EX Plus tomorrow, and well, just her EX Plus. I don't think she gets a rework. She doesn't need it. But yeah, tier 5, I'm not going to be tackling this until I get Balthier, because you need some way of dealing with all the enemy buffs. Now if I had Faris, then I might actually be able to do something about it, but I don't, and I'm not going to be pulling for Faris, so you know, I do what I can. So in this video I'm actually going to be taking on tier 1, and I'm going to be doing that with Machina, Ramza and Agrias. So I really hate to remove this perfect, because this took a lot of resets to actually fully complete, and that means that I'm going to have to do it again. I'll have to do it off camera if necessary. So who was it? It was Ramza, yeah, Machina, Ramza, Agrias, that's who I used. So you really want a summon here that has some speed passives, in my opinion. Either Leviathan, because this thing's weak to water, or Shiva. I'm going to pick Shiva because it's just a good all-around pick and it gives extra attack. For my artifacts, actually, one thing I found quite interesting about Machina's artifacts that I didn't know about before is that Mighty Awakening actually increases the Brave damage dealt by Furious Blades, which is his HP attack. So it increases his HP attack Brave damage potency, which is different to increasing his attack. It increases his potency directly. So actually I think that's really good for Awakening. It's just not very good to not have an attack 108. Ideally this would be 108 Awakening, but I have actually done some tests, and you do actually do more damage with Mighty Awakening than you actually do with a 108, which I find really surprising. So I'm just going to keep that on him for now. Don't think I'm going to do any more farming for Machina at this point, to be honest. Or Ishtola, or Rem. You know, they're not perfect, but they're close enough. They're close enough to be perfect. It's not necessary. I want to save my resources. Anyway, let's jump into it. See if we can't get a clear recorded. There might be some jump cuts, because, honestly, it is very difficult. It does not play around. And I might well have to do some resets here. That's just how it goes. So Machina is really nice because he's got basically instant turn rate on Awakening, and his HP attack gives him incredible longevity. So I'm going to attack this one over here because I'll do more damage. Don't really need to use skills here, to be honest, just sticking to HP attacks. Ramza cannot get up to 3 stacks of shout immediately because you can and will run out of shout stacks if you're not careful. So you do have to play it a little bit slow with Ramza at the start. Just be aware of that. So I'm actually gonna hit this thing with Cyclone Drive, because this actually gives you Brave cash back based on the amount of damage you do. So 30% HP damage dealt, you get Bravery back. So I'm just going to do this because C is targeting Machina. It means I won't get broken. And of course Machina's gimmick is that every time he breaks or hits a broken target with Awakening or Furious Blades, that his Furious Blades changes into Furious Blades Plus, which is it's a free turn. So basically he's dealing 32k damage per turn, but he's actually dealing more like 64 to 68k damage per turn because every other turn is free. So I'm actually just going to pop a Judgment Blade here so we break everything. We've entered the bomb wave, and it's really, I'm not a big fan of this one. So yeah, I'm going to pop Innovate here just for the debuff on the thing, just because the speed debuff might make it a little bit more, a little bit less ridiculous. So I'm going to Furious Blades because I get turn rate. And then I'm going to pop a Guardian Blades on the middle one, because that also gives me Brave cashback. So you have to be very careful here with these things, because you can see that at 2500 Bravery they're pretty close to coming out of break, and if you get broken by these things, it can set off a chain reaction where you just get continually broken, and it's really not fun at all. So I'm actually just going to Bravery attack with Ramza here. Have to play it a little bit safe. Machina's counters. Man, if that was 8 instead of Machina, he would be doing so much damage right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna Furious Blades Plus on this thing, because that means I'm just gonna do a Bravery attack plus with Agrias, and not break C for some reason. You can see what I mean. Look at the turn spacing; it's horrible. So whenever you see something like this, A is going to target C, and A is going to give C Bravery. That's what that kind of means. So it's really not good to have to deal with that. So I'm just going to shout to get another stack of shout on Ramza. I'm actually going to use Furious Blades here on A, so that A goes after C, so that I don't have to deal with C being batteried and potentially doing HP damage to someone. And I've seen that this actually gives Machina turn rate, so what I can do is I can use Galvanize to refresh all my buffs, and then I can use Cyclone Drive so I don't get broken. Excellent. Oh, I can eat that all day. I can eat that damage all day. So after this thing uses the first all attack, after it uses Meteor, it swells up, and if you don't break this thing before it uses its next attack, then it will use a self-battery explosion attack, which is just directly HP damage. It's not Brave HP, it just does HP damage. So I'm going to use Knight's Pride here for the buff, and because it gives Agrias turn rate, and I should get my EX by the time her next turn comes up. Should. I'm just going to use Innovate here, there's no reason not to. It does more Brave Shaving. And there we go, it's shrunk. So we're safe. I can just hit them with the Hallowed Bolt anyway. Alright. So C is gonna hit Agrias, and then A is gonna battery C, so I mean that's fine, that'll do as it is. C can't. Because of silence, that's also fine. Let's get that awakening buff back up. Okay, that's perfect. So I can use Furious Blades here for turn rate, and then I can use Guardian Blades on his next turn. And that will break everything if it's not broken already. So let's see. A is going to attack Ramza. A attacks first. So A will not break Ramza with 8,000 bravery, probably, and then C will attack afterwards, which is also fine, because it is... Oh no! I didn't mean to attack C there. Oh well, whatever. Oh no, now C goes first. See, because when C breaks you, that gives them break bonus, and then if they get break bonus, they can do dangerous things if you're not careful. So I'm actually just going to go in here and kill off C because it's a menace. I think I can warrant a Judgment Blade here. So I don't want Agrias to get broken here, so I'm gonna Brave Plus. If she gets broken anyway, it's just fine. It's whatever. So you've got the general feel for how this fight goes. After it swells up, after it uses its explosion or doesn't, as the case may be, it will revive any of the little bombs that die as well. So if you waste too much time trying to kill the little bombs, you will lose damage per turn. So just be mindful of that. And oh god, that thing has a lot of bravery still. Well. And that's doing nothing. Awesome. Oh god, Machina, I love you sometimes. We're safe. Kind of. You know what? That should be fine. We've still got counterattacks. That's completely fine, I don't care about that. Have a choice here. I have to refresh shout. So hopefully C doesn't do anything too nasty. That's okay, that's fine. Because I know that Agrias has her EX. and she can take care of this problem for me. It may not look it, but it's surprisingly stressful. Battery for Machina here, so it doesn't get broken. Oh, we silenced them anyway. That's totally fine. Here's what we can do. Pop Awakening to get instant turn rate, and his EX will be charged. So we can break everything. And we get out of the wave, that's awesome. This is better than the first time I did it. Now we're in the final wave, which in my opinion is a lot easier than the middle wave. Like, if you're about to get blown up by the bomb in the middle, don't be afraid to use summon. Like, just use summon, don't die, it's not worth it. But I managed to get here without burning summon, so I've got summon in this wave, which is actually really nice. Yeah, you know what, I'm actually going to pop Innovate on them just for the stat debuff, just because it makes it that little bit easier, you know what I mean? Oh, goodness. That's fine. Ow. Eat a counter attack. Without Ramza buffs. So I would personally heavily recommend focusing B here, it's just the bigger threat overall. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that little interruption there. Just had to go see to something. So, as I was saying, definitely focus B. It's by far the most dangerous. So I'm actually going to stick this thing with Innovate as well, just because I just feel more comfortable having the debuff on it, you know what I mean? We're doing perfectly fine for turns, so that's not a problem. Let's see, we've got Awakening. We don't really have any Awakening left, so I can use Fury Splits twice, and then I will Awakening, and then I'll use the X, so that will be fine. Scratch that, I might have to use Awakening early after all. So So what I'll do is I'll break A so that I can use... actually, you know what? Ah, screw it. I'll just do that. Meanwhile, Ramza gets yeeted off the turn bar for some reason. That's unfortunate. You know what? I'm actually going to use a guaranteed paralysis here. Actually, am I? Am I? Yeah, I am. I have to now. May not have been the most optimal move to make, but yeah. Actually, yeah. I want B to take its turn. Before Agrias. Or even no, you know what, I just want B to take its turn. It doesn't matter when. Okay, because after it uses its turn, then it buffs itself with a lot of buffs, and then it just starts spamming AoE attacks. So this is where I'm going to go and summon. And I'm going to use Cyclone Drive, because why wouldn't you do that in summon? Meanwhile, Agrias can finally pop her EX, which will stop B from doing anything when it gets its turn back. Not to mention deal a fuck ton of damage in the process. My Ramza has completely lost his shout stacks because I'm an idiot, so I'm going to use shout to get them back. Well, I'm not going to be able to get up to shout 3, so this is, you know, this is definitely not a perfect run, but I mean, at least it goes to show that it doesn't need to be. So it doesn't really matter if we use any of it during the actual summon, because it's you know, it's the same in terms of turn efficiency. So I'm actually just going to whack him for a bit of bravery on everyone. Oh god, that was not what I had planned for at all. So we'll need to use some Knight's Prides to get Ramza healed up, and we'll not have to take another one of those attacks, otherwise we're completely screwed. It's kind of what not to do right there. Okay, so we definitely need to break B. And we didn't. So yeah, let's pop the ever useful Cyclone Drive. Now I don't trust exactly that Agrias is gonna break B here, so I'm gonna pop my second guaranteed paralysis. which was definitely the right call because B is unbroken. Let's just shift gears and start focusing on A a little bit, because Agrias is going to take out B with her EX, so we don't need to worry about that so much. Let's get Machina's buffs back and pop this to finish off B. Get some battery going. We're just on cleanup duty at this point. As long as we're not stupid, then we should be fine. No! Oh god, that's awful. Thank god counter is amazing. Jesus, that's FEoD for you. It can definitely screw with you when you least expect it. But it looks like we're all complete. We've got all requirements. So let's pop that Judgment Blade and be done with it. There we go. That's Dimensions End 1 down. Only 4 more to go. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope some of you out there found this helpful. If not, then at the very least I hope you found it cathartic and or entertaining. And until the next video, I will say take care and goodbye.